at the same time, you go to some restaurants and you feel good. I mean, the food feels good, the place feels good. So I think this can be something to be said for that as well.
Yeah, the ambience, or you like the ambience over there, or the experience. Yeah, people do go out for experiences. Yes, but usually the restaurant model is for profit. Their main goal is to earn money, and yeah, they just want to make money. They want to pay their employees, and so many different factors. So their main thought process is they want to run their business, want to make profit. Business means profit. There's no business without profit. So there has to be some profit. And because that's their mood, as Penny outlined for us, that it's the mood, what kind of mood they have. It's mostly money conscious. It's mostly, there's so much pressure to cook in a short time, provide this, like anxiety, there's pressure. So that mood is not right, and most restaurants will go for cheap ingredients because they want to maximize their profits. That's not really ideal. So when it comes to eating a leftover from your own home, or ordering from restaurant, eat your own leftovers. That's better. And also, the home food is made out of love. It's one of the very important principles in Ayurveda, that whoever is cooking food for you, they should love you. Whoever is serving also should love you. That is so important. Both elements, the cook and the server, they both have to love you. Because their energy, their negative mood will go into the food. So there's a story of a rich man. He had his personal chef, and he had loads of money, no problems at all. But he started having these dreams every night of having no money. It's like, why? I have so much money. I'm dreaming about having no money and being in difficulty, financial problem. Every night he was so disturbed by those dreams. It was every other day. So then finally, he was talking to his chef, and the chef revealed that he has some problems in the family. He needs more money. And then that's when he realized, oh, he's been worried all these days and cooking for me, and those are the dreams. That's the consciousness that's affecting me, and my dreams are like that. So as soon as he solved his problem, the dream stopped. There was it appeared in a magazine, the story, this incident. So the idea is that whatever we are cooking, our consciousness is going into that food, wherever our mood is. So it's important again to cook in a pleasant mood. But if it's not possible, then please acknowledge that, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, but I'm still doing it. It's okay. Those are days in which you go to work, come back, and be very tired to cook for your own self, for your family. It's okay. It's human nature. But just acknowledging that fact and telling our minds that it's okay. It's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. So that's very important. These days, there's so many superfoods and so many things that come along in trends. Maybe on TikTok or Insta, I don't know. But are all good things good for you? Do you think about that? Should we have everything? Oh, moringa is good, foxnut is good, let's have that. Let's cut down as much as we can. All the nuts, all the seeds. What do you think?
No, because then it becomes excess, and that becomes out of balance.
Yeah. So we have to see what is good for my body now, at the moment. What phase I am in. How is my digestion? Is my digestion variable? Is my digestion very sharp? Uncontrollable hunger? Or is my digestion low? For most people these days it's low or variable. So what is the status of my digestion is so important. And then using those ingredients. So nuts are heavy, seeds are heavy. So you don't want to consume a lot of them. It's just very little. And if your digestion is weak, then don't consume at all. So you have to see all those things. So there's another story I'll tell you. So there's this school, Ayurveda school, and the students were graduating. So the teacher said that before you graduate, before I hand on the certificate, I want to give you a little test, a little task. So the students are like, okay. And then he said, so your last task before you all graduate is to go and find out any substance on the planet which has no medicinal value. And so students went on a treasure hunt and they were searching for different substances and noting the properties, and most of the students came back with something, some substance from the planet, something they found, some herb, some stone, something. One student came empty-handed and he was very dejected, like, I'm disappointed my teacher, I just couldn't find anything which has no medicinal value. So then the teacher asked, why did you not find anything? Then he explained that everything on the planet has its own effects and side effects. It just depends how you use it and who uses it. So there's nothing on the planet which is of no good value, really. So then the teacher said, you really understood the lesson. That's what Ayurveda is. It just depends on the substances. What substance you have, who's going to use it, how much they're going to use it, and what time of the day you're going to use it. It all depends. So nothing is waste. But all these diet trends, we have to be very careful about what is coming, what is going, and seeing what is my status, what is my digestive status at the moment. That is very important. So we're going to talk about sattvic diet mainly here. We're going to cook a sattvic diet. And why sattvic? Maybe we'll give it a try. Why would you do a sattvic diet?
It's to stay calm and peaceful and balanced.
Correct. Because whatever modes we have, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, they have an effect on our minds. Just imagine, as so onion and garlic are written at the end. Onion and garlic are very agitative for the mind. So when I grew up on onion and garlic, and then when I became a Bhakti Yoga practitioner, I quit onion and garlic. And so I didn't take onion and garlic for several months before I went back to my home, and my mom still cooked with onion and garlic. And when she gave me, I actually felt my mind was so much agitated. It was just uncontrollable and agitating my senses. So that's when I realized how powerful they are. So when you are on those diets, you don't realize it. When you go off and then you go back again, that's when you realize the difference. So I'm going to talk mostly about sattvic diet because it's the diet a yogi must have. It's a yogic diet. A lot of yogis in the previous ages just subsisted on few grains, dairy, fruits and vegetables. That's what their main meals were. Some just subsisted on milk their entire life. Because there are other sources of prana. And food provides prana, the life force, the life energy. So they had other sources of prana through breath, because we talked about 4 inputs. Breath is one of them. So if your breath is controlled and conscious, it can become a source of prana also. So when you're talking about sattvic diet, you're also trying to have an effect on the mind. The mind is peaceful. It's so easy to engage in spiritual practice. Meaningful spiritual practice, meaningful yoga practice, so it becomes so easy. Otherwise, it's like all over the place. You don't want to do agitating things to it. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse which states, foods which are fatty, juicy, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart are foods in mode of goodness. So you can think of grains, you can think of fruits, vegetables, organic, without pesticides, chemicals, cruelty-free. These are all sattvic food. So that's why, and then it's also important, the food which is prepared with mindfulness, care, and love. Love is the secret ingredient.
Always,
It's
yeah.
always. So energetic vibrations absorbed by the food you're preparing has a direct impact on the body, mind, and soul. Discussed this to the story.
Oh, can you go back one, please? Just want to get the last two. Thank you.
Would it be possible to share this PowerPoint after?
Okay.
Is it?
There's another verse which is just stating the cycle of sattva or the purity. So it's ahar shuddho sattva shuddho dhruva smriti lambhe sarva grantanam vipramoksha. From purity of food comes purity of mind. From purity of mind comes constant remembrance of God or divinity. And from constant remembrance of God, one becomes free from all bondage. One becomes liberated, self-realized. The ultimate goal of yoga. That's why it's yoga of food. So that's what we're going to learn today. Kitchen is pharmacy. We're going to talk all about food, and you're going to see a lot of pictures about food, and you're going to feel hungry. Tempted to eat something. So there's Charaka, who is the great sage. He has written one of the root textbooks of Ayurveda. He's like the physician in Ayurveda. Sushruta is a surgeon in Ayurveda. And Vampata is combined the teachings of Charaka and Sushruta and made a comprehensive book of Ashtanga Hridayam. So Charaka says that if you don't have proper nutrition, medicine is of little use. And if you are taking a proper nutrition, medicine is of little need. Yep. So that's Charaka's words. So therefore, eating the food that's right for you will create the favorable conditions for your body and mind to thrive, to be full of life. There it just, So this is from the internal medicine textbooks of Harrison. It's considered the Bible for internal medicine and allopathic medicine. So this is a chart. I don't want you to get overwhelmed and wait till you get to the end. But I want to show you that this is a drug chart for type 2 diabetes, type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And they are just outlining, summarizing drugs and the mechanisms, the names of the drugs, class, the percentage. That's where I want you to focus, the percentage of HbA1c, which is a blueprint for 3 months of blood glucose levels in our body. So what is the effect of these drugs? It's 1 to 2%, 0.5 to 0.8%, and there are certain side effects and contraindications. Yeah? So there's another, the chart continues, and similar, if you see, there's not even 1 to 2% of reduction with these drugs. And these are kind of newer drugs and more expensive drugs. The reduction is not so much. Now you just wait. This you see. Medical nutrition therapy and physical activity. So this modification to diet and lifestyle, the percentage effect is 1 to 3%. It's the maximum. And there are no contraindications. The only side effect or the only problem is compliance. People are not able to follow it. But
Long-term success is low.
Long-term success, because people are not followed through, they're not able to follow it. That's why their success is not so much, or they don't see it. But you could reverse a lot of your disease, adjust your diet and lifestyle. And this is coming from really the Bible of internal medicine, Harrison's.
Can't argue with that.
Right.
Sorry?
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's like if you are confused about anything, consult Harrison. It's like that for us. And just now I was hearing another doctor who's practicing family medicine. He just said the same thing, that the effect that I can make on the patient's health through diet and lifestyle for diabetes mellitus is so much more than the drugs that I'm prescribing. It's just that people are not ready to follow. And it's like how we develop diabetes. It's like continuous insult for several years and then we developed a disease. So how do we expect it to reverse so quickly?
Immediately.
It'll take time, that much time to go back to some extent. This is a quote. I would really like someone to read this. It's a beautiful quote from one of the dietitian in India. She's very popular, celebrity dietitian, nutritionist, and it's a beautiful statement that she's written. So I would like someone to read.
I'll go ahead and read it. Cooking is an evolved art form, one that engages all your sensory perceptions, draws you within itself, and comes closest to the state of meditation. It's human creativity at its best and a reflection of true human nature, one that is caring, giving, and sharing. Intelligent and insightful at the same time, this is one of the earliest human expressions of art. Cooking is an art and also science. A cook is an artist, creates eatable pieces of art. Beautiful.
So this particular passage is written in her book, and it's just amazing. I just found it so amazing that cooking is like a meditation. Kitchen should be a sacred space. Cooking is also a sacred art, where you're trying to create nourishing meals for yourself and your family and your loved ones and your friends. So, and it's a real meditation, that chopping, the act of chopping, or just putting the ingredients and putting that salt. It's actually engaging all our senses into it. So it's like meditation. And it's also creativity. I mean, so many cuisines and so many, all of our ancestors knew how to mix different things and create amazing dishes, and some of the dishes are actually nutritionally perfect. It's just the combination of lentil and rice it's just perfect nutritionally also. It's amazing that how they knew all these sciences are just creating that pesto. It's like amazing, that aroma. It's like aromatherapy also, and then your palate are excited, and it's good for your health. So it's just amazing.
It's also a nice exercise in gratitude
Yeah.
when you think about all the different spices you have there, and you didn't have to go and find them and prepare them. And so you stand on the shoulders of other people who've come before you. And to think deeply about that gives you more appreciation.
Yeah. It's like, it's amazing. And there's so many cuisines and do so many things with different things. It's like mind blowing. It's like, how can somebody be so creative? So it's like, this is a debatable thing. I mean, people are doing a lot of raw things these days, but what do you think about raw versus cooked food? Which is better for us? Raw. Anybody else?
Depends on the food.
Depends on the person.
That's true.
Depends on the food.
Okay, yeah.
And the
Depends on
person.
the person.
And the person.
I think a balance is good.
Middle ground. Okay.
They're good.
Anybody else? Any other responses?
I like in between, very lightly cooked. Like some steaming of a vegetable, like carrots.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on the sanitation conditions from where the food is actually originated as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
like in
a little
India,
bit
there's
issue.
hardly any salad. You can't get salad anywhere because there's not much. The fruit and vegetables are, might have bacteria or might make you sick. That's what throughout India. I mean, even a lot of
If
the
they're not
street
washed
food,
properly,
if you're not washed
especially if they're
properly.
not cooked,
Or
they're
the,
raw, so then definitely the bacterial factors.
Yeah.
I
The
think
cooking
we
will
water.
keep, the cooking process will kill the bacteria. They won't survive. Most bacteria don't survive.
Right.
That heating process. Yeah.
I think we could go for something in between steamed as well.
That's like kind of cooking. It's part of cooking. You've steamed, boiled, baked, grilled. They're all part of cooking. So, what happens is, you see a ripe fruit. Ripe fruit is cooked or raw?
Raw.
It's cooked. It's cooked by the sun.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's Aditya
Sunshine.
Pakam.
Oh,
Aditya means
nice.
sun and Pakam means cooked. So cooked by sun. So ripe fruits are cooked. Vegetables are kind of raw, and you want to cook them, because what is happening when we cook on the stove, we're making I'm going to display it, but we're trying to remove some anti-nutrients from the vegetables. Anti-nutrients naturally occur in the plant, but they inhibit the absorption of the food. I'll give you the example of almonds. Almonds, the skin has a phytochemical which actually inhibits the digestion of the almond. So what you have to do is soak the almond and remove the skin, remove the peel, and then consume the almond. Then the digestion is so much better. And that soaking is also enhanced its bioavailability, made so much easier for our body. So therefore, even for spinach, a lot of oxalates in the spinach. And Ayurveda recommends that you cook the spinach. You have to steam to squeeze that water out of it, remove all the oxalates, because oxalates are responsible for stones in the body, kidney stones, gallstones, oxalate stones in the body. So you want to especially remove them, and you want to consume them, especially in the spring and late winter time. You don't want to consume them year round. Spinach or green leaf vegetables, that's the best time to consume. We'll figure out why, but that's how. That's again, an example of anti-nutrient present in the food. So there are different anti-nutrients which are inhibiting the absorption of the food. So therefore, you want to remove them by cooking. So as somebody said, middle ground. Middle ground is somewhat acceptable. You don't want to do too much of variation of like big raw with cooked. A small portion of raw with cooked is fine. Just as we can do with some salads, like small portion of salad with a grain. So that is acceptable. That is acceptable by our bodies.
Are you talking about, in general, are there regional differences, geographical differences? Are there certain foods assimilated better in one place versus
Yeah, definitely it happens. Geography has a very important factor. It is called Desha in Ayurveda, Sanskrit word Desha. So definitely if you see in North India and you see South India, North India people do consume a lot of wheat or heavy griddle fried breads, flat breads. And if you see historically, they were working in the farms, they were in agriculture, there's a lot of hard work involved, so they could digest those heavy things. But if we are to imitate that and have those rich parathas, rich fried breads with a lot of butter, it's not for us because we're not working that hard. That was the region, and genetically they became like that. But over a period of time, people are consuming the same diet without understanding that their digestion, their physical activity has changed. So you need to take care of that. So geography has role. Certain foods do grow more tastier in certain regions. They have different subtle differences in their taste because of their natural habitat and growing them in an unnatural habitat, which is not their real home. They were just transported there and we started growing. So there is a difference, and Ayurveda does mention that. So therefore it's important to go local, seasonal, organic. And so it's a local around you, whatever is being grown. Whatever you're used to from your childhood can also be okay for you because your body's used to that, accepting that for a long time. So it gets used to that. So you can continue your childhood diet, but of course you see if the place is making it difficult to digest. So you may want to consider a change. But yeah, generally bodies will do good with that.
And it's the opposite of supermarkets, right? Because we can get everything
All
the
year round.
time, all year.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why you need to be conscious of what to pick during which season.
Season.
and pick that. Some stores do put in season, peak season, so you can that's a little bit of a guiding light for us.
And we have a fascinating statistic in what I do.
Uh-huh.
So Japanese women,
Uh-huh.
Japan has a lot of gastric stomach cancers, but they don't get breast cancer. So when Japanese women come to United States, within one generation, their rate of breast cancer, which is 1 in 6 or 1 in 8 women, is the same. One generation. So when you see geographically, I mean, obviously there's environmental other factors. So obviously we're doing something that is not very harmonious.
Could possibly be the toxins in this particular environment are different than in Japan.
More dairy too.
Well, they drop their original diet,
Yeah.
so they adopt
Mhm.
ours. You know, like soy, the phytochemicals in soy protective against the breast cancer. So then they come here and they don't eat as much soy.
Well, it's interesting, like
But
say,
yeah,
we come from
right.
India, we, assimilate here.
Yeah.
For many years, the lifestyle, food, everything stays very similar.
Uh-huh.
Maybe like my children's generation might change, but yeah, I mean, there's factors that at least I don't understand. But maybe this is telling us what's going on.
Do you eat like you ate when you were living in India?
More or less.
More or less
Even
all the
now.
time.
Because I've experimented, but I've noticed that my system cannot handle the local diet.
Pizza.
Pizza is available in India.
Yeah.
Different varieties. Oh my god, too many varieties. So yeah, that's in terms of nutrition science, cooking of grains and vegetables help remove the anti-nutrients like phytates and oxalates that exist naturally but come in the way of nutrient absorption. So therefore, you don't want to do a lot of salads because they're raw and there'll be anti-nutrients present, or it's also the airy quality, the lightness increases of the vegetable. It's like, you're cooking the food here, you're making it easy. Similarly, when the food goes in our system, the digestive juices have to function to make it more, to break down the molecules, and then it's going to be distributed to the entire body. So if it's raw, the body has to work hard. And you don't want to put so much pressure on your digestive fire. Therefore, also you want to keep it low. Avoid it, especially during the late hours, or too much of a big meal, or vegetable juices. You're doing smoothies these days, which is a mixture of fruit and vegetables. Vegetables are raw, fruits are a little bit cooked. It's a mismatch. The body gets confused. Body doesn't know how to process that. How to break down something which is cooked, something which is raw. How do you do that? It's like giving a complex puzzle to a child and you're like, do it in 1 hour and next meal will come. You don't want to put too much pressure on your body, so you want to respect the mechanisms. So therefore it's important that you do simplified meals, we'll talk about it, and therefore no vegetable juices. Be careful of the smoothies and the combinations that they're using. We are drinking smoothies to increase our health, but instead harming our health. It is something our body in different ways. So don't be very mindful, and we'll talk about incompatible foods later, but yeah.
You can also get a big glucose spike because you don't have any of the fiber that goes along with it.
So important. And you don't want to do a lot of that because fruits have fructose in them and other things break down as glucose, and fructose metabolism is very different in our body. Biochemistry is totally different and it cannot handle a lot of fructose.
Goes right
So
to
you
the liver.
definitely need one fruit for a few, very small cup of juice if at all. But it's best to have fruit with the fiber, have it with its pulp and the skin, because it's adding fiber and it's going to help your peristalsis, help absorb the sugars better, as you outlined. It's so important. So important. Yeah.
So raw foods in limited quantities, and that's something you'll.
Yeah, that's what Ayurveda encourages. It depends on the body constitution also.
Yeah.
Like people who have fiery digestion, they can do better with raw. It's good for them because they want that crunch, they want that bland taste, so it's good for their digestion because they can absorb, they have fiery digestion. They have the capacity to process it. But for a person who has variable fire, this is just like you're cooking on the stove and I'm blowing a fan and the flame is going off and on and sometimes fan is there, sometimes fan is. It's a variable fire. Variable fire is like the food will not cook properly. If the fire is too sharp, the food will not cook properly. If the fire is low, it will take so much longer time to cook. So these are different fires that's happening. But what we want is balanced fire. We want it just right to be able to cook. So therefore, whatever we are doing, we're trying to support our digestive fire. If our digestive fire is okay, then a lot of non-communicable diseases can be prevented in our system. Of course, there are certain exceptions, which is fine, but a lot of lifestyle metabolic problems can be taken care of. Is that okay? Yeah.
Isn't it some level this all a common sense thing as well?
It is, but you see different trends are coming.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't cook a banana, but you can't eat a potato raw. Like, isn't that like?
Yeah, but people are doing so much salads and so many different smoothies, and that's a fact.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We ate raw food for years. Just raw food. Mom and I.
And it wasn't
that's
sustainable.
Vata aggravating.
Exactly, it was about aggravating. It wasn't sustainable
Yeah.
too. I couldn't keep doing it. The green drinks. It was like when the fad was everything green. Do everything green. It was the green juices and the green smoothies and the green salads, everything. And yeah, we left that.
I'm glad you didn't turn green. I'm glad you didn't turn green.
Yeah, I know. I probably did then. I did turn orange with the carrot juice.
Because when Hulk is getting angry, he turns green.
Yeah.
So when you're just on green, she becomes angry. And
Green with envy.
I kind of whittled away even smaller and smaller. I was like, no, you gotta change this up. Right?
It's also that the grains are actually helping us to have more mental clarity, more mental work. So we are having grains, you can do more mental work. You have fruits, you have that sattvic energy, that lightness, but it just doesn't stimulate for the mental work, and you can do it like for a fast. You go for a fruit fast and you see how you feel. Or you go without grains and you see how you feel. It's like different variations. Subtly we do feel these. I mean, we go on fast a lot of times, so we know how it feels. Because fasting is good, so occasional periodic fasting is good. So if we're doing those fastings, we realize those effects. I've not had grain, how am I feeling?
How long are you fasting?
Usually fast twice, fortnightly, twice a month on a spiritually potent day. And it's like religious, spiritual benefit, but also you get the bodily benefit.
It's 2 days. Fortnight is
Just fortnight is 2
48.
weeks.
48 hours.
Yeah.
And recently, one guy got a Nobel Prize on discovering this. That there's a whole phenomenon in the body when we fast.
The autophagy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bad cells, the cancerous cells we all have, but when it goes out of proportion, we get the effects of those. But when we fast, those bad cells, the body starts to kind of self-heal and self-destroy the bad cells, and it just helps to have a better and healthier body.
Right.
I think was he Japanese?
I heard, I don't recall the name,
Yeah.
but he got a Nobel Prize for discovering, but it was very, very, in our ancient books of knowledge, it was already
there.
mentioned.
Yeah.
We got a Nobel Prize for that, that's the only difference.
Yeah, even like problem with India is people don't like to capitalize their things. But turmeric has been there forever, and we've known anti-inflammatory properties is documented, but nobody ever marketed it like that or patented it. It's like, turmeric is our thing. No, but somebody else did it. Yeah, but that's
And
it.
now you have a Starbucks turmeric latte.
That's good. Yeah, turmeric all over the counters. Shelves.
So you did say that turmeric is, what is the effect of turmeric, if you don't mind kind of shifting?
Sorry, what is
The effect of turmeric. You mentioned to me that vata was not so, it wasn't so good for vatas, the turmeric.
It has a drying effect.
Drying.
You want to distribute that?
Yeah,
But we
it's a
have
perfect-
slides also.
Perfect
and there are
segue for
papers.
sharing this. So we can take one and pass the rest.
I have a silly question. So when we're talking about good
Take one
foods,
and
does the
pass.
temperature that you consume your food at also affect how you digest it? Like warmer?
Yeah, yes. The warmer the food, the better it is because our body temperature, it has to simulate the body's temperature. If it's something cold, then again the fire has to work a lot.
That's what I figured, yeah.
Yeah. So if it's cold water or cold food items you take from the refrigerator, eat it. It's like body has to bring it down to that temperature and then assimilate it. So it's a lot of work. So it's taxing for the body. It's not a silly question. Thank you for that. So this is also another concept in Ayurveda about 6 days. So a balanced diet should always have 6 days. And I've strategically placed 3 here and 3 there. I could have put one under the other. But they're strategically placed like that. Because if you see sweet, sour and salty, these are actually nourishing, building tastes. And bitter, pungent and astringent are reductive tastes. They're going to reduce. But all the 6 days are actually nourishing and important for all the tissues in our body. They're building or helping some system in our body. So if you see bitter taste, think of bitter melon, think of
Arugula.
fenugreek, sorry.
Arugula?
Arugula,
Dandelion.
leafy greens, yes. Yeah, they're bitter, they're actually blood
Dandelion root.
purifiers.
Sorry?
Blood purifiers, bitter taste. That's good for blood. And then you see the sour and the salty, and you see pungent. You don't want to do them when you have hyperacidity or rash on your body because they have fiery element to them. Just think of the wound that you have and you put salt over it. It burns bad. So it has a fiery element. Same goes for lemon. If you have a little cut and the lemon juice goes over it, it burns. It tingles a lot. So it's a fiery element. Pungent, we can see chilies. It's hot. So if you have hyperacidity, you don't engage in sour, salty and pungent. If you want a very reductive diet, weight reduction, metabolic reset, diabetes, bitter, pungent, astringents are better. But if you want something nourishing, you want building, then salty, sour and sweet tastes are better. Sweet doesn't mean eating sugar, chocolates, cakes, pastries, but it means grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits. Most of them have a sweeter effect on your body.
Dairy too.
Dairy too, yeah.
And the fermented foods, would that fall
Fermented
under
food will
sour?
come into acidic, yeah, sour.
Exactly.
About the opposite, weight gain.
People want to weight gain?
Yeah.
Sweet, sour, salty.
Same.
Yeah. So go for nourishing diet like use sour fruits, lime, lemons, pomegranates. Go for grains, legumes. Then salty, you put salt. Then it comes,
So I've read that you should really have all of those in one day. All of those, so the Chinese say that you should have all.
yeah, we
Mm,
should.
that's
And
sort
the
of hard
easiest way is through the spices.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're carrying those complex tastes. They're either a combination of 2 or 3 different tastes. So that's why it's very easy through spices.
So a curry, does that have, how many elements does a curry have?
Curry leaf.
Curry, would it have, of those 6, does it put all 6 in? It's got pungent?
Not all, but most of the spices have actually, let's say, pungent, astringent, bitter taste, mainly pungent taste because they're more warming. Most of the spices are pungent. We're going to talk about that later. So most of the spices are come under pungent, and then few are astringent and bitter. And then sour and salty we always adjust. Sweets are our grains, so that's how we have covered all the 6 states in our food. It just depends upon what body is, what your aim is of your health, of your disease. We can modify a little bit of those proportions in the diet. This is another concept of, I don't know what's the time?
2:30.
We should start cooking. Yeah.
You won't have to convince me. Let's go.
We can set up cooking and
Yeah.
you all can, we can just, it can cook and we can talk in
Well-
the kitchen.
The occult power. Can you explain that one?
Occult power.
Yeah, with digestive fire.
Yeah, it's a concept which is unique to Ayurveda again, because it is, what people say is you are what you eat. Ayurveda says you are what you digest. Because whatever you're able to digest and assimilate, that's how your tissues and your mental makeup will be. If your digestion is, awry, out of balance, then there are problems. That's how the sages have described the power of digestion. It's the X factor in the body. Basically, it's a complex of digestive juices, the hormonal secretions that's happening. It's just a combined term for all that, a digestive fire. And even in Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by the divine, he says that I am the fire of digestion. So Lord is saying, so fire is so important in Ayurveda to understand that if we have good fire, we can cut down a lot of disease. You need fire to assimilate even the herbs. When you're taking your herbs, you need that fire to break it down. It's the power of transformation, metabolism, change. You want to bring it to change. You're converting something external element like fruit or vegetable into the tissues of your own body. You need extreme power, and that is digestive fire. And that's the X factor that we need. Anything that changes, you take a wood, you're burning it, it'll turn into ash. That's a transformation. You take your hormones, they're bringing a certain transformation in our body. That's the power of fire. They're part of pitta element in the body, the fiery element in the body, the hormones, the enzymes, the acids, the juices, because they are bringing about a transformation. They're bringing about a change in the element.
Thank you.
So we can, we should start cooking. We'll be cooking today.
Yes.
Clarified butter, ghee. We're going to talk about the benefits of it. Then we talk about khichdi, which is a one-pot meal, detoxifying for the body. And then we talk about buttermilk, which is so important for the gut health. So so two of the recipes are very easy. Buttermilk is easy, ghee is easy, and then we cook our khichdi. And maybe we should talk about it in the kitchen. I think it's better. And you all can volunteer for chopping rice.